Hello folks, how are we today? Today I'd like to bring your attention is something, it's not mathematically perfected economy, it's something regarding our treasonous politicians and what they're trying to put through now. And this is something that really affects me because it's a violation of the children of Australia. Now I want to read this proposed legislation that's in Western Australia that they're proposing right now. Australian government moves too quickly to pass laws to sterilise, electroshock and restrain children without parental consent. I'm going to read out some of the highlights from this legislation here. Children of any age to consent to sterilisation. If a psychiatrist describes that a child under the age of 18 has sufficient maturity, he or she will be able to consent to sterilisation. Parental consent will not be needed. Only after the sterilising procedure has been performed does it have to be reported, and then only to the chief psychiatrist. Pages 135 and 136 of the draft Mental Health Bill 2011. Next bullet point. 12-year-olds will be able to consent to psychosurgery, banned in New South Wales and the Northern Territory. Psychosurgery irreversibly damages the brain by surgery, burning or inserting electrodes. The draft bill proposes to allow a 12-year-old child, if consented, to be sufficient mature by a psychiatrist to be able to consent to psychosurgery. Once the child has consented, it goes before the Mental Health Tribunal, MHT, for approval. Parental consent is also not needed for the MHT and approval of psychosurgery. Pages 108, 109, 110, 197, 198, 199, 213. Next bullet point. 12-year-olds will be able to consent to electroshock. Electroshock in hundreds of volts electricity to the head. Any child aged 12 and over whom a child and adolescent psychiatrist desires is mature enough will be able to consent to electroshock. Also, once consent is given, there is a requirement for parents or everyone, including the MHT, to approve the electroshock. Electroshock should be banned. Its use on the elderly, pregnant women and children is especially destructive. Pages 100, 101, 101, 103, 104, 194, 105. Restraint and seclusion of children. Children can be restrained in psychiatric institutions with the use of mechanical restraints, mechanical belts, straps, etc. and bodily force. Chemical restraints. They're going to drug the children. Use of psychiatric drugs. The schedule and control the person. Is not covered in the draft bill. So there are legal safeguards to prevent its application. Death can result in all forms of restraint. Pages 122, 121, 131, 113, sorry, 246. Involuntary commitment of children. A psychiatrist can involuntarily detain any child for up to 14 days if suspected of mental illness. Parents will not be able to discharge their child during the period and take them home. The psychiatrist then can make a continuation order to continue the detainment for up to 3 months, and therefore for each subsequent 3 month period during detainment the child could be drugged, restrained, scheduled, given electroshock if over 12, and could be put into a ward with adults. Parent consent is not required to continue the detainment or for any treatment, including the child being placed on a legal order to continue to receive drugs from home. The MHT hold hearings in detainment of a child, but there is no guarantee the child will be able to go home. In 2010-2011, there were 1,248 charges for all ages, 148 hearings for all ages, and only 58 people had their status changed from involuntary to voluntary. Next one. Who will be able to detain the child is not fully known. An authorised mental health practitioner can also detain the child and adult in the draft bill. Exactly who the authorised mental health practitioner is not defined by the draft bill. The chief psychiatrist can literally give anyone of any profession the power to detain someone just because he considers they are qualified by publishing the decision in the Gazette. This clause may be removed from the draft bill, Health Bill 2011. Only a judge or magistrate should have the power in order to someone be detained, only with the full legal representation of the person facing deprivation of liberty. Who is responsible for this draft bill? The Western Australia Mental Health Commission, MHC, were responsible for writing the draft Mental Health Bill 2011, with Mental Health Commissioner and clinical psychologist, here we go, Mr. Eddie Bartnik, overseeing the process. Now, any of you politicians out there listening to this, you've just declared war on our children. And I tell you what, all the mothers out there, all the females out there, they're gonna hang you guys for garters, mate. I tell you what, I'm a bloke. When the women find out about this, what you want to do to their children, mate, you politicians should be aware that you have just, if you pass this bill, you've just declared war on all the children of Australia. You have no right to electroshock our children. Bloody start doing bloody brain surgery, brain damage them and sterilising them. Shame on you Australian politicians, you representatives out there. If this ever goes through, you're going to be held responsible and accountable. Big time. Big time! Polarised individuals. You're sitting in treason. And you damn well know it. Attacking our children now. Fucking shame on you, you bastards.